Welcome to Lento English. Ready to level up your English? Here we learn through stories, slow, clear, and fun. Listen, relax, and enjoy the journey.
One introduction. Imagine you look at a map of Europe today. You can easily see Germany. It is a large country in the center of Europe. Many people live there and they speak German. But let us think about a time in the past. Go back just over 150 years from now. At that time, the country of Germany did not exist as one nation. This is a surprising fact. Before that time, the area we now call Germany was very different. There were many separate places. These were smaller lands like small states, kingdoms, and cities. People lived in these many lands. Most of them spoke the German language. They had some shared culture and history, but they were separate. Each small land had its own government, its own leader, and sometimes its own army. They were like many small countries next to each other. They were not united. This lesson is the story of a big and important change in this part of Europe. It tells how these many separate German-speaking lands came together. They joined to form one single nation, one country called Germany. In this story, we will learn about the important people who wanted this unity. We will discover the new ideas that made people want one Germany. We will also look at the big events like important meetings and wars that helped bring these lands together and shaped the country we know today. This is a story about big changes. It is about new ways of thinking about nations. It is a story about how a country can be created from many different parts that were once separate. This is the story of German unification. 2. Old times, many lands. Long, long ago, the place that is Germany today was very different. Many people lived there. They spoke the same language, German. These people lived in the middle part of Europe. Their way of life, their culture, was a mix of old German ways and ideas from the Roman times. Over hundreds of years, these people moved and lived in many different places across a big area. But they did not live in one single country. No, instead there were hundreds of small lands. These were like tiny countries. Some were called city-states, which were cities that ruled themselves. Others were small kingdoms led by a king. There were also duchies led by a duke. Each of these hundreds of small lands had its own ruler. An old empire was in this part of Europe. It was called the Holy Roman Empire. Many of these German lands were part of this empire. But the main leader, the emperor, did not have complete power over everyone. Each local ruler was quite independent. They had their own soldiers, their own small army. They made their own rules for their land. Because of this, people felt they belonged to their small state, not to a big, united Germany. If you lived in the land of Bavaria, you felt like a Bavarian. If you lived in Saxony, you felt like a Saxon. The idea of being German as one nation was not strong then. Among these many German states, one was very powerful. This was Austria. Austria often had the leading role in the Holy Roman Empire. The rulers of Austria tried to make the empire stronger and more like one country. They wanted more central control. But the leaders of the smaller German states did not want to lose their power. They often pushed back against Austria's plans. Also, other big countries in Europe did not want to see a very strong German country. So, the Holy Roman Empire stayed a collection of many small, independent lands for a long time. It was not one strong nation. 3. Big changes arrive. Big changes came to the German lands at the start of the 1800s. A strong French leader named Napoleon Bonaparte started many wars across Europe. These wars ended the old ways and brought new ones. In 1806, Napoleon ended the Holy Roman Empire, which had existed for a very long time. He then put many German states together into a new group. This group was called the Confederation of the Rhine, and France had control over it. This changed the map of the German areas and reduced the number of small states from hundreds to a much smaller number. But later, Napoleon was defeated in 1815. After his defeat, European leaders met to make a new map for Europe. For the German lands, they made a new group called the German Confederation. This was in 1815. This new confederation had 39 German states. It was a group of independent states that agreed to work together on certain things, especially defense. It had a parliament, or meeting place, in the city of Frankfurt, where representatives from all the member states met to discuss matters. Austria was the most important state in this new group. The leader from Austria always led the meetings of the Confederation in Frankfurt. However, many people in the German states were not happy about this new arrangement. They felt that this German Confederation did not truly represent them or their desire for unity. They felt like they were not truly free or independent as a people. They remembered fighting together against Napoleon. There was a very big battle in 1813 at Leipzig, sometimes called the Battle of Nations, where soldiers from many different German areas fought side by side against the French army. This shared fight was a major event. It created a strong feeling among them that they were one people, sharing a common identity and purpose, even though they were from different states. When Austria became the main power again in the German Confederation, many felt it was like being controlled by an outside power once more. Austria was a large empire with many different peoples, not just Germans. They had fought for freedom from France, but now they felt controlled by Austria's influence over their affairs. This feeling of being occupied, or not truly independent, made the desire for a truly united and independent German nation grow stronger among the people. The German Confederation was a formal group of states on the map, but it did not give the Germans the deep unity and freedom many were starting to want. This period after Napoleon and the creation of the Confederation marked the beginning of new, strong ideas about what Germany could be. People started to feel more German than just Bavarian or Saxon, and they wanted a country that matched that feeling. 4. New ideas grow. In the 1800s, more people in the German lands began to feel like one group. They spoke the same language. Even though people in different areas spoke in different ways, they could mostly understand each other. This shared language was important. People also started to feel they had a shared culture. This feeling grew stronger through stories and traditions. Writers played a role in this. For example, the brothers Grimm were famous writers who collected old German folk tales and fairy tales. They published these stories between 1812 and 1815. These were not new stories, but popular ones known in many states. By putting them in books, people in one state could read the stories from other states. This helped show that Germans across different lands shared stories and had a common past. The stories often had similar lessons or morals, which also made people feel connected as one people. At the same time, new ideas were spreading. One important idea was liberalism. Liberalism said that people should have more personal freedom and rights. People wanted more say in their governments. Sometimes, this idea of freedom went together with the wish for a united German nation, where people could have more rights together. People who believed in nationalism, wanting their own country, and people who believed in liberalism often worked together. Rich people who wanted to trade more easily between states also supported these ideas sometimes. They saw that a united or more cooperative Germany could be good for business. Many Germans felt they were not fully free, almost like they were controlled by outside powers or old systems. This feeling, combined with the new ideas, created a spark for change. Having common enemies helped these feelings grow stronger. First, the fight against Napoleon's France made people from different German states feel united against an outside power. After Napoleon was gone, many Germans were unhappy with Austria being the main power in the German confederation. This shared unhappiness also made Germans feel like a group who needed to stand together against Austria. Fighting a common enemy made people feel strong together. It made them feel more German. These feelings are called nationalism. Nationalism is the idea that people who share a language and culture should have their own country. People started to have a dream of an independent Germany. They wanted the German lands to be free from outside control and to be one country, or at least work together more closely. By 1832, people even held festivals to celebrate German culture and talk about independence. Another event, the Rhine Crisis in 1840, when France made demands for German land, again made Germans feel united against a common threat. This showed how a shared enemy could quickly make nationalist feelings much stronger. All these things, language, culture, shared stories, new ideas like liberalism and common enemies, helped the idea of a single German people and nation grow during the 1800s. 5. Prussia gets strong. Prussia was one of the German states. It was getting stronger. After the wars with Napoleon, Prussia got new lands in the West. These lands had important things like coal and iron in the ground. Prussia used this coal and iron to build many factories. They started making things from steel. This was like a big change in industry. Prussia was one of the first German states to do this. When a country has more factories and industry, it usually gets richer. Prussia also thought schools were important. They started making schools for all children. This meant that people learned more. Workers in the factories became better at their jobs. When workers are good, businesses do better. This helped Prussia's economy grow even more. Prussia also started a special group for trade. It was called the Zollverein, which means customs union in German. This group started in the year 1834. What did the Zollverein do? If states were part of the Zollverein, they could trade things with each other without paying extra money at the border. Imagine you have a shop in one state and want to sell something to a person in another state in the Zollverein. You did not have to pay extra taxes on your goods. But if you wanted to sell things to a state outside the Zollverein, you still had to pay extra taxes. And states outside the Zollverein had to pay taxes to sell things to states inside the Zollverein. Prussia wanted more states to join this group. It made trade easier and cheaper for everyone inside. Many German states saw that joining the Zollverein helped their businesses. They could sell their products to more people in other states. So many states joined the Zollverein. Austria was the other strong German state, but Austria did not join the Zollverein. This trade group helped the German states who were members to work together on money and business. The Zollverein made the German states, except for Austria, more connected in a new way. They were working together on the economy. This helped Prussia become the most important state among them. The Zollverein was a big step. It showed that the German states could work together, and it showed that Prussia was leading the way, not Austria. This economic link was important for what happened later. 6. Connecting the lands. New ways to travel helped the German lands connect and grow closer. Before, travel was very slow. People mostly used horses or ships on rivers and old roads, but with new machines, things changed a lot. First, canals were built or improved. These were like water roads for ships. From the 1820s, canals connected important German rivers like the Danube, Weser, and Elbe. Ships with new steam engines could travel on these canals by themselves, without needing horses or people to pull them. This made moving goods by water much easier, cheaper, and faster than before. Roads were also made better. A new way to build roads used small broken stones. This method was much easier and faster than the old way of putting large stones together carefully. So many new and better roads were built across the German states. The most important new way to travel was the railway. Trains started running in the German lands in the 1830s. Railway lines spread very quickly across the Confederation. Trains could carry a large amount of goods and many people very fast between cities. This was much quicker than any old way of transport. This quick transport was very good for businesses and trade. Goods from one state could be sent to another state easily and quickly. This helped the customs union, Zollverein, work even better. Businesses could sell their products to more people across the German lands. This helped the economy of all the states in the Union grow strong. The economy grew faster than in many other places in Europe. People could also travel more easily than ever before, not just for work, but also for fun. They could visit cities and places in different German states. When people traveled, they met others from different regions. They talked to each other, did business together, and saw that they shared a language and many ways of life. Even though there were different local ways of speaking, most German-speaking people could understand each other. Meeting people from other states made them feel more like they were part of the same large group. It helped the idea grow that they were one German people, not just people from separate states like Bavaria, Saxony, or Prussia. So, the new ways to travel and move things, canals, better roads, and especially the fast railways, helped the German lands connect physically and economically. This connection made the economy stronger. It also helped people feel more and more like they belonged to a single German nation. This feeling of shared identity was very important for the future goal of uniting all the German states into one country. 7. Big talks and small wars. In the year 1848, big changes happened in Europe. People in the German lands also wanted changes. They asked for more freedom and a united Germany. But the people who wanted a united country could not agree on how it should look. Different leaders and groups had different ideas. Because they could not agree, the plans for a united Germany failed at that time. Austria, which was the main power in the German confederation, had many problems in its own lands. It ruled over many different peoples, not just Germans. These other peoples also wanted more rights or their own countries. This made Austria weaker. Prussia, another important German state, helped Austria stop the rebellions in the German states. This showed that Prussia was strong. After these events, some people who wanted German unity thought about a new way. They saw that revolutions did not work. They started to think about working with the rulers of the German states instead. This practical way of doing politics was later called Realpolitik. Prussia, led by clever people like Otto von Bismarck, used this idea. Prussia wanted to become the leader of the German states. Prussia also worked to make sure other big countries in Europe would not stop German unity. These big countries were Russia, Britain, and France. Prussia tried to show them that a stronger German state under Prussia would not be a problem for them. Prussia helped Russia when Russia had trouble with a rebellion in Poland. This made Russia and Austria less friendly. Britain was mostly interested in its navy and trade, so it did not strongly oppose Prussia. France was okay with separate German states, but not one big united Germany. Prussia made promises to France. There was a disagreement about some land called Schleswig and Holstein. These areas were ruled by the King of Denmark, but had many German people. In 1864, Prussia and Austria fought together against Denmark for control of these lands. They won the war. After the war, Prussia and Austria controlled Schleswig and Holstein together, but they started to disagree about how to rule these lands. This disagreement led to a war between Prussia and Austria in 1866. It was a short war. Prussia's army was modern and well-trained. Prussia won this war quickly. This victory was very important. It showed that Prussia was now the strongest German state. Austria's power in the German lands was finished. This war cleared the way for Prussia to lead the effort to unite Germany. 8. Won Germany at last. After Prussia won the war against Austria, they made a new group. This group was called the North German Confederation. It started in 1867. This group brought together the states in the northern part of Germany. The states in the southern part of Germany did not join this new group right away. They stayed separate, but they made agreements to help Prussia if there was a war. This meant that if someone attacked Prussia, the southern states would fight with them. There was a problem with France. There was a disagreement about who should be the king of Spain. Otto von Bismarck, a clever leader in Prussia, used this problem. He made the problem bigger, and France became very angry. France decided to start a war with Prussia in 1870. This was a big moment. All the German states, the ones in the north and the ones in the south, joined together. They fought as one army against France. The German armies were very good. They were organized well. They used trains to move soldiers and supplies very fast. The French army was slower. The German armies won many battles quickly. In just a few months, the German states defeated France. This victory was very important. It made people in all the German states feel strong and proud to be German. They had fought and won together for the first time. Because of this big victory and the strong feeling of being one people, the leaders of the German states decided it was time. On January 18, 1871, they met in a special place near Paris. They said that there was now a new country. This new country was called the German Empire. The King of Prussia, Wilhelm I, became the first leader of this new empire. He was called the German Emperor. So, the many separate lands where German people lived finally became one country. It was a long road with many steps, but after the war with France, Germany was one nation at last.